Olivia Starr wiped her hands on her apron, breathing in the warm summer air as the neighborhood fair buzzed around her. The vibrant banners fluttered in the gentle breeze, the scent of popcorn mixing with blooming flowers. She stood behind her modest ice cream stand, lined with colorful tubs of vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Children's laughter floated over the hum of conversations and the occasional clatter from nearby booths. At 22, Olivia felt a genuine happiness in these moments, handing out smiles and scoops alike, her simple pleasure in connecting with people making the long summer days worthwhile. Dressed casually in jeans and a bright blue shirt, Olivia's brown hair was pulled back in a neat ponytail. She paused as a small boy shyly approached, holding out a crumpled dollar. Her smile widened, soft and warm, as she served his cone with care. It was a small, ordinary scene, but one that she cherished. Nearby, a group of teenagers loitered by the snack stalls. Loud and bold, their chatter cut through the cheerful noise like a sharp knife. They exchanged mischievous glances, their eyes settling on Olivia. Their leader, a lanky boy with a smirk named Jake, whispered something to his friends. They started edging closer to her stand. As Olivia offered an ice cream cone to another customer, one of the teens suddenly reached out and pretended to knock over their cup. The others burst into laughter. "Hey, look at Miss Sunshine here!" Jake jeered, his voice loud enough to echo through the fairground. The teens began to mock her, teasing with cruel jokes and exaggerated clumsiness. Olivia's smile faltered for a moment, but she quickly straightened up, determined not to let their jeers ruin her day. The fair's cheerful vibe hesitated, a tension threading through the crowd. Nearby, the event staff exchanged uneasy looks, sensing trouble. The teens circled Olivia's ice cream stand like a pack of wolves, their laughter growing louder and more pointed. Jake, the ringleader, pulled out his phone and started filming, aiming the camera at Olivia while sneering, "Smile for us, ice cream queen." His friends guffawed behind him, egging him on. Olivia felt her cheeks heat with embarrassment. She forced a polite tone. "Please, I'm working. I'd appreciate it if you didn't disturb my customers." Her voice was calm but firm. "Ah, what's wrong?" "Scared of a little fun?" teased Mike, a stocky teen with a cocky grin, as he pretended to spill an empty cup near her feet. A few nearby fairgoers paused, watching the awkward scene unfolding. Some shuffled uncomfortably, while others exchanged disapproving glances. "Leave her alone," said a man in his 50s from the neighboring booth, adjusting his sun hat. "She's just trying to do her job." Jake shot a sneer at him. "Mind your business, old man." Olivia's heart sank. Though she kept her composure, the taunt stung harsher than she let on. She glanced down at her hands, slightly trembling as she tried to prepare the next ice cream cone. "Why don't you just go away, loser?" Mike snapped at her. "Nobody cares about your stupid little ice cream." Laughter erupted among the teens, sharp and cruel. Olivia forced a smile and spoke gently. "Please, I'm working. I don't want any trouble." At that moment, a group of children approached, drawn by the colorful signs and the festive music. Olivia's face softened as she turned to serve them. "Which flavor do you want, sweetie?" One of the girls shyly pointed to the chocolate. Olivia carefully handed over the cone, ignoring the cruel gasps and whispers behind her. But the teens weren't finished. Jake stepped closer, raising his phone higher. "Let's make a little viral video, shall we? Pranking the ice cream lady." Olivia's breath quickened. She felt trapped, the crowd's eyes now flicking between the laughing teens and her struggling smile. "Hey! Stop that," a woman's voice rang out. It was Sarah, one of the fair's staff members, appearing with a clipboard in hand. "You're disturbing the vendors. Put your phones away." Jake rolled his eyes. "Who you gonna make us? Bossy lady?" Sarah didn't back down. "Yes, me. Now come with me, please. The teens exchanged glances, irritation flashing in their eyes. You can't make us, Mike spat. Watch me, Sarah replied calmly but firmly. Olivia watched as Sarah approached the group with authority. The other staff quickly joined her side, gathering around with professional expressions. Jake growled under his breath but reluctantly handed over his phone. Mike and the others followed suit, though their eyes blazed with resentment. A small circle formed as the staff conferred quietly about the situation. Olivia heard bits of conversation: harassment, keeping the peace, zero tolerance, words that seemed to lift a weight off her chest. With the teens' phones confiscated, the atmosphere shifted. The crowd began to murmur with approval. A middle-aged woman remarked, "Good on you, Sarah. Enough is enough." Olivia took a deep breath, feeling a flicker of relief. The cruel laughter had faded, replaced by supportive nods and occasional smiles. The teens, though disgruntled, had no choice but to stand quietly now. Some sulked, others glared at their confiscated phones. "Are you okay?" Sarah asked softly, turning toward Olivia. She nodded, her hands still a little shaky. "Thank you. I wasn't sure what to do." "You don't have to face that kind of disrespect. We're here to help," Sarah said kindly. As the teens were led away to speak with a senior event coordinator, Olivia noticed the warm gaze of several fair visitors who had silently cheered her on. Children reached for their parents' hands, their curiosity mixing with the sense of tension dissolving. One boy tugged at Olivia's apron skirt. "Are those mean boys gone now?" he asked timidly. "Yes, they are," Olivia smiled, kneeling to meet his eyes. "Now, who's ready for some ice cream?" The boy's eyes lit up, and he nodded eagerly. Despite the storm earlier, the fair had returned to its light-hearted rhythm. Olivia went back to scooping cones, her steps a little lighter and a little steadier. Later, she stepped behind the counter briefly, wiping sweat and tears from her face. She pulled out her phone and dialed a close friend's number. "Hey, it's me," she said quietly when the call connected. "I had a rough time with some teens at the fair today. They were really mean." Her friend's voice was gentle on the other line. "I'm so sorry, Olivia. You don't deserve that. Are you okay now?" "Yeah," Olivia replied, trying to steady herself. The staff stepped in and took their phones away. "It was scary for a bit, but now, things are better." "That's good to hear. You don't have to put up with that nonsense." Olivia nodded, even though her friend couldn't see her. "I just want to focus on my work and not let them ruin the day." "Sounds like a plan. I'm here if you need to talk." Before hanging up, Olivia took a deep breath. She reminded herself of her purpose here, not just selling ice cream, but bringing moments of joy to families and kids. This summer job was helping her save for school, build connections, and practice kindness even in tough situations. Returning to her stand, Olivia felt a quiet strength growing inside her. The teens had tried to humiliate her, but their power was slipping away. The event staff's intervention showed her she was not alone, and that standing up took more courage than hiding. Still, the tension lingered just beneath the surface. The eyes that had watched her struggle carried questions. Would there be more from those reckless youths? Would she be able to keep her spirit unbroken for the rest of the day? As Olivia handed out another scoop of ice cream, she caught a glance from the manager of the fair, Mr. Davis, a stern man in his 40s who had just arrived. His sharp gaze rested on the teens being led away, but then flicked to Olivia, eyes assessing. She wasn't sure what he was thinking. Olivia smiled again, determined. She would weather whatever came next, no matter how difficult. For now, she focused on the little moments, a child's grin bright like sunshine, a mother's grateful nod, the satisfying click of the scoop gliding through strawberry ripples. The sun continued to beam down, and the fair's music played on. But beneath the cheerful surface, Olivia sensed the day was only just beginning, and that she was standing at a crossroad she never expected. The teens, their phones safely tucked away by the staff, looked visibly rattled, the ease and confidence they had wielded just moments before now replaced by discomfort and uncertainty. Jake, still burning with defiance, shot a glare toward Olivia, but something in her unwavering calm unsettled him. Olivia steadied her breath and adjusted the strap of her apron. The fair's manager, Mr. Davis, stepped forward, clearing his throat to address the group that had gathered around the stand. His voice was firm and measured. "We have a strict no-phone policy in the vendor area," he said. "This is a place of work and respect. Everyone must comply. That includes putting phones away." The teens muttered, exchanging frustrated glances. Mike frowned, arms crossed, but he didn't challenge Mr. Davis further. The weight of the crowd's watching eyes, united behind Olivia and the staff, was palpable. Olivia seized the moment, voice steady as she spoke to the assembled crowd. "Thank you all for standing by me. It's important that we treat each other with kindness and respect, especially in places where so many families come to enjoy themselves." A few heads nodded, including the kids now clutching their ice cream cones, eyes wide and hopeful. Olivia's words weren't loud or commanding, they carried the quiet power of someone who'd endured, who understood both pain and compassion. Jake, however, wasn't ready to surrender. He took a tentative step forward, voice dripping with condescension. "If you're so great, why don't you show us what you can do? Prove you deserve to be here." The crowd turned toward him, some frowning, others curious. The challenge hung in the air like a gauntlet thrown. Olivia blinked in surprise. The teen's attention seemed to shift from mocking to expectant, as if daring her to rise or fall under their scrutiny. She hesitated for a heartbeat. Then, with a shy but determined smile, she lifted a small white box from under her counter, the prize for the day's best trick shot in a nearby carnival archery game. "I'm not here to prove myself to bullies," Olivia began softly, "but to work, to connect, and to save for my future. However, if you want to see something, I can try." The crowd watching grew larger as word spread. A few vendors and fair visitors gathered, expectant of what the so-called ice cream lady might do. Jake smirked but nodded. "Go on then." Olivia set the box down carefully and turned to the archery stall across the way. The owner, a grizzled middle-aged man named Harold, raised an eyebrow. Olivia walked to him and whispered a question. Harold nodded and handed her the bow and arrow. The crowds hushed as she stepped to the shooting line, taking careful aim. The teens leaned forward, whispering bets on whether she'd fail. With slow, steady breaths, Olivia pulled back the arrow. The muscle memory kicked in, the years spent volunteering at a youth center where she taught archery as a way to empower kids, free from any pretense of competition but full of fierce focus. The arrow released cleanly and zipped across the air before striking dead center on the target. Gasps and cheers erupted. The teens' jaws slackened. Jake's smirk morphed into incomprehension. Olivia smiled, cheeks flushing with pride and vulnerability. She turned to the crowd. "I'm more than just ice cream." Harold grunted in approval. "You've got quite the arm, Olivia." The teens shifted awkwardly, caught off guard by the skill they hadn't expected. Some faces crimsoned with embarrassment, others avoided eye contact. Sarah, the staff member who had defended Olivia earlier, gave a proud nod. "See? There's more to people than appearances." Jake cleared his throat, voice unsteady. Okay. No harm meant, I guess." Mike looked at the ground, his usual bravado stripped away by Olivia's quiet strength. The manager, Mr. Davis, stepped forward again, voice calm but resolute. "This isn't just about rules, it's about respect. That's what we expect here." The crowd murmured assent. The message was clear: humility beats cruelty. Olivia returned to her ice cream stand to applause, small children clapping, mothers smiling. She handed out a cone to a wide-eyed girl who touched her arm gently. A softer energy settled over the fairground, raising the mood as if renewed by Olivia's quiet victory. Later, as the teens sulked away escorted by the staff, Olivia glanced at them and spoke without malice, "Everyone deserves a chance to be better." The group didn't respond. But the simple words hung in the air, planting a seed beyond their current frustration. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue, Olivia felt a glow of warmth, not from the fading sunlight, but from the newfound respect and a community rallying around kindness and dignity. The day's earlier tension seemed like a distant memory as laughter and music floated back to life among the booths. Olivia knew challenges remained, judgments that ran deeper than a moment's prank. But the moment had changed something fundamental, a proof that dignity and quiet strength could illuminate even the most difficult encounters. She looked out at the smiling faces, breathed in the sweet scent of melting ice cream and summer blossoms, and prepared to face whatever came next with steady heart and lifted spirit. As the fair's music faded into the gentle evening hum, Olivia leaned back for a moment behind her modest ice cream stand. The crowd thinned, and the chatter softened to an easy murmur. For the first time that day, she allowed herself a breath deeper than the mere surface of her daily struggles. The warmth of the sun had shifted into a cool, calm dusk, and with it came reflections she rarely voiced aloud. A few curious passers-by gave appreciative nods as they passed, their eyes lingering on her not simply because of the ice cream she offered but because of the quiet strength they'd witnessed. To many, Olivia had been just the ice cream girl all day, her simple denim jeans and bright blue shirt marking her as a familiar part of the fair's fabric. But there was more beneath the surface, a story her customers couldn't see at first glance. She wiped the sweat from her brow and smiled softly, thinking about her life beyond this stand. Olivia wasn't a permanent fixture in the fairgrounds. She was a university student, 22 years old, studying pediatric nursing. The smile she wore now, the hopeful energy she carried, was a shield honed through years of balancing dreams and realities. The modest job selling ice cream wasn't a reflection of her worth, but a stepping stone on her journey. Born into a modest, hard-working family, Olivia grew up appreciating the value of honest work, kindness, and perseverance. Her parents had always taught her to carry herself with humility and to meet life's challenges not with bitterness but with strength and compassion. Those lessons echoed within her now, mended in the bruises of ridicule yet shining bright in the moments of support she found. As she glanced down, she noticed the smudges of vanilla ice cream on her fingertips and ran them lightly over a cloth. The youthful energy of the fair still lingered around her, children's shrieks, the rustle of festival banners, and faint notes of a nearby accordion. It reminded her of why she valued this job so much. She wasn't just scooping dessert, she was weaving small threads of joy into the lives of families struggling just like hers. Lost in thought, Olivia heard footsteps approaching. It was Sarah, the fair staff member who had stood up for her earlier. "You held yourself well today," Sarah said quietly, offering a steadying smile. "More people than you know noticed." Olivia looked up, her gratitude plain. "I didn't know I had it in me, not like that." Sarah nodded. "Sometimes it takes facing challenges to discover our own strength." "You've got a good heart, Olivia." And now, a story that inspires. The two women shared a moment of quiet camaraderie amidst the fading chaos of the fair. Olivia's gaze drifted toward the teens who had caused the trouble, now at a distance, subdued and keeping to themselves. "I wonder what'll happen with them," Olivia murmured. "People learn in different ways. Today wasn't the end, but maybe a beginning." Sarah's eyes were firm but hopeful. Olivia smiled faintly, her thoughts turning to the future. Beyond the tangled moments of ridicule and resilience, she had her sights set on a life filled with purpose, to help children heal and grow, to make a difference in her own way. Her simplicity in dress, her modesty in speech, now felt less like an obstacle and more like a quiet defiance against the judgments that often come with appearances. She was still Olivia, the one who earned her keep honestly, who gave every scoop with care, who carried inner worlds richer and deeper than most assumed. Sarah glanced at her watch and sighed. "I need to check on a few things, but if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." Olivia nodded, grateful for the support she had come to rely on in this unexpected circle. "Thank you, Sarah. For everything." The sun's last rays dipped below the horizon, casting the fair in twilight's soft embrace. Olivia resumed serving the few remaining customers, these exchanges lighter, warmer, as if the day's events had untangled the knots of tension. She handed a cone to a tired father with a thankful nod. A mother nearby smiled at her encouragingly. The small victories accumulated quietly as she worked. During a lull, Olivia pulled off her apron and gazed outward. The setting sun painted the sky with pastel strokes, the same gentle hues that colored her quiet determination. This day had tested her in unexpected ways, challenging her sense of self and worth, but it had also revealed an inner resilience she hadn't fully acknowledged. Her glance settled on the simple white box, the prize from the archery game, that still sat beside the stand, a symbol of her unexpected moment of triumph and pride. It seemed to whisper of possibilities beyond this day, beyond the small town fair, beyond the simple judgments of others. A light breeze played with her ponytail, and Olivia inhaled deeply, feeling a calm certainty settling inside her. The path ahead might still twist with hardships and surprises, but she knew one truth: strength often lives quietly beneath gentle skies, and the courage to keep smiling could make all the difference. With a renewed sense of purpose, Olivia gathered her things and prepared to close the stand for the evening. She could almost hear the applause of invisible friends and the promise of new beginnings in the hush of the twilight. The day might have tried to knock her down, but Olivia Starr was far from finished, not as an ice cream seller, not as a student, not as a person who, despite the odds, chose kindness and dignity. Her story was still unfolding, each moment a step toward the life she was building, one scoop, one smile, one small victory at a time. The next morning, a new energy rippled through the fairgrounds as vendors set up their booths with renewed enthusiasm. News of the previous day's drama had spread quietly among the staff and locals: how Olivia Starr, the young woman selling ice cream, had faced down a group of unruly teens with quiet strength and unexpected skill. The incident had become a small but meaningful topic around the community, a reminder of respect and kindness in a sometimes harsh world. Among those hearing the news was Mr. Davis, the fair's manager, who had taken the matter seriously. After conferring with the event's organizing committee, he had issued a decision: Jake, Mike, and their friends would be banned from all future fairs for their disruptive behavior. Additionally, their parents had been contacted to discuss the serious nature of their actions. Word reached Olivia through Sarah, the staff member who had defended her. "They called me this morning," Sarah said as she approached Olivia's stand with a smile. "They're furious, but Mr. Davis made it clear, no tolerance for harassment." Olivia nodded quietly, a flicker of empathy mixing with relief. "I understand. I hope they learn something from this." Sarah's gaze softened. "They might. Actions have consequences." Over the course of the day, a ripple of polite recognition followed Olivia as she served ice cream. More people stopped to chat, expressing admiration for how she'd handled the situation. Some told stories of their own experiences with bullying and how courage made a difference. Olivia felt buoyed by the warmth of these connections, as if the community had rallied around her. Meanwhile, Jake, Mike, and their clique found themselves sidelined, unable to sabotage the fair's spirit nor torment those working hard to create a welcoming space. They were confronted not with mockery, but with the sober reality of lost privileges and disappointed parents. For once, their bravado faltered under the weight of accountability. That evening, as Olivia closed her stand, she packed up with a happy tiredness. The day had been long, full of challenges, but also of vindication. The boy who had tugged her apron the day before caught her attention. "Thank you for standing up," he said shyly. Olivia smiled, bending to meet his gaze. "Thank you for believing in kindness." As she locked up the stand, Sarah appeared once more, handing Olivia a small envelope. "For you," she said, her smile warm but mysterious. Inside, Olivia found a note from Mr. Davis, praising her courage and professionalism, along with a modest bonus to thank her for representing the fair so well. The simple gesture brought tears to Olivia's eyes. "This," she whispered. "This means more than words." Sarah chuckled softly. "You earned it." Walking home under the pale moonlight, Olivia felt a quiet peace settle within her. The hurt and humiliation of the day before had given way to something stronger: acceptance, resilience, and a community that saw her true worth. She thought about the teens, not as enemies, but as people who might one day realize the importance of respect. The choice to rise above cruelty had changed more than her own story. It had started a conversation about kindness in a place that welcomed all. The next morning brought a fresh start. Olivia returned to the university, carrying the lessons from the fair like a steady light. Each day, each challenge, was a chance to show strength not with loud words or harshness, but through quiet dignity and kindness. A few weeks later, during a summer class break, Olivia was invited back to the fair, but this time in a different role. Mr. Davis approached her with an opportunity to help coordinate vendor activities, recognizing her leadership and spirit. It was a moment that marked not just a job promotion, but a symbol of how resilience can transform adversity into growth. As Olivia accepted, a smile tugged at her lips, not just for the recognition, but because she now stood as an example for others, showing that respect and courage could change minds and hearts. She glanced toward the bustling crowd, the colorful booths, and the families enjoying warm summer evenings. A gentle breeze lifted her ponytail as children's laughter echoed in the distance. Turning to Sarah, Olivia said, "Thank you for believing in me." Sarah replied, "No, thank you for showing all of us what grace looks like." The story of Olivia Starr was no longer just about an ice cream seller pestered by teens. It was about a young woman who embodied kindness in the face of cruelty, transforming a difficult moment into a triumph that touched everyone around her. Her journey continued, steady, hopeful, and real. Now, what would you have done if you were in Olivia's place when those teens started their prank? Would you have stood firm like she did, or walked away? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If Olivia's story touched your heart today, please don't forget to subscribe. There are many more stories of courage and kindness waiting to be told. See you in our next story.